So, hello there. We're gonna explore today. Is she there? Is Marie there? Yeah, so she's here. Why did you switch off your video?
She
She
had
has
to
a
work.
class apparently. She's has to do something else, but she was going to be helping set up everything that's necessary.
Oh, I see. Oh, yeah. All right. Yeah, all right then. So today I think I'd like to explore the place of faith in Buddhism, because we all come from a background where the same notion of faith means something completely different from uh, what it would mean like for someone from the East, because we come from Abrahamic religions, and the whole background of faith is shaped by that. And there is this notion of like the sciences and how it's antithetical to the idea of faith. So you have faith and you have like knowledge or whatever. So those are like and the facts, or faith despite the facts, etc., etc. So um, we exist in this cultural background where this notion and the place of faith in Buddhism is not very clear, actually. And so I think I'd like to share some thoughts on that. And we're gonna base our discussion on like our um, this sharing of the knowledge on two early Buddhist sutras. So they're called suttas because they come from Pali Canon. But I think both of them have corresponding uh, suttas with basically the same content in Chinese canon. All right. I think we should start with some Guru Yoga. Just a couple of minutes. Okay. So, um, have you ever read like mm, Hinayana Sutras? Yeah. I wonder if you're familiar with this one. So it's the discourse to the Kalamas. I'm gonna share a link if you want to. I wonder if I should send you a link or share my screen and we'll go through the text. Yeah, I don't think that
I
I
think
can.
sharing the screen might be
Yeah,
better because we can follow your face and what you're saying while reading.
sure, but then the problem is I need to send a request. I
Yeah,
don't
send
think
it to
that I
Marie.
have.
She's gonna eventually.
Eventually, yeah, hopefully.
Yeah, she says she's gonna be like listening to us, so I don't think she's gonna take too long.
Oh, all right. Yeah. Oh, I think the problem is that I might not have a. Yeah,
Can you
I need
can you
to.
see my screen? Can you guys see the
Yes, I
screen?
can. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
apparently I started sharing, so maybe we can go like this. Like I can share my screen.
Sure, sure. That's
Okay.
great. So
Okay.
it's the. Have you ever read the sutta? No. So basically, the context is Shakyamuni Buddha um, came to this village basically, and so at that time in India there were many monks. So basically, not exactly monks, but samanas. That's how they're called. So basically, holy men, sadhus, and they all explored like different set of ideas, and it wasn't as like the ideological, the religious background wasn't as monolithic as it is today, or like it is and it was in like Western Europe or in other places. It was very diverse, very much like the ancient Greece, where several philosophical schools could um, live together, like in a proximity. And so you have this choice of following different teachings, different worldviews, etc., etc. So basically, a lot of different and most of them or all of them basically in this Sadhu tradition relied on alms to sustain, like, so they would go for alms to villages, basically to receive the food from villagers. They need to be gifted the food, like donated. And in this context, those like sadhus with their disciples would travel around the like northern India, and people would be exposed to different sets of ideas. And here in this sutta, basically, if you scroll down a little bit, um, I don't think that I have time to explore the sutta like line by line or explain some of the structure of it. Uh, so they've heard about this man, for them, which is like just another sadhu, Gautama the contemplative. So Shakyamuni Buddha, for us, like Lord Buddha. And so you're wondering, um, when he came around, or it was the other way around, but basically when there was the encounter between Kalamas and Shakyamuni Buddha, they've asked him, um, what should they believe, because they hear different teachings all the time. So they were not convinced Buddhists, the Kalamas themselves. So they were on this crossroad, hearing different teachings. Some um so mm, like the set of ideas was really diverse. It wasn't that everyone believed in reincarnation or like higher realms or karma, etc., etc. So it was very different. And so they are wondering, how should they judge what is true or not? And so here, so they're asking the Blessed One, so basically the Bhagavan, one of the titles of the Buddha. Lord, there is some contemplatives and Brahmins who come to Kesaputta, they expound and glorify their own doctrines. But as for the doctrines of others, they deprecate them, disparage them, show contempt for them, and pull them to pieces. And then other contemplatives and Brahmins come to Kesaputta. They expound and glorify their own doctrines. But as for the doctrines of others, they deprecate, disparage them, show contempt for them, pull them to pieces. They live as absolutely uncertain, in doubt, which of these venerable contemplatives and Brahmins are speaking the truth, and which ones are lying. So it's it's a really interesting problem that we also encounter, since we can follow um, different spiritual paths, or even like taken broadly, we can follow different life paths. Basically, spirituality is just one choice, one ideological choice among others, one set of values. So, uh, which are true? Maybe like we don't know. We don't know if there's karma. We don't know if there is a reincarnation. And how should we judge what is true? And basically, in our culture, um, we have this notion. In some sense, we sure, no problems. Yeah. So um, there's this notion that um, there's faith, which is when you believe in something without evidence, and there is like knowledge when you have evidence. But like at its core, both of them are forms of belief, because most of the time, especially for example in the scientific discourse, you yourself don't have um, neither the training nor the tools to actually verify for yourself if like some piece of knowledge is true or not. So you rely on belief. It is different. It is definitely more justified in a sense. You have the evidence, and when we say faith, we mean that it is something total. You either have faith in something or not, because it comes from this, for example, in Christianity. the interesting thing is, especially in Protestant Christianity, in Protestantism, faith is a form of grace. It is something given by God. You cannot do anything to start believing yourself, actually. And also, faith is the only factor that um, is necessary for salvation. So it's something very hardcore. You don't have evidence. You don't need evidence. You either have it or you don't have it. It is it's it's a very strict there's this very strict very real tension between knowledge and faith. And so let's see how Buddha answers to Kalamas. Um, so he comes to this from a very different point, and we should try to understand what's the role of faith, what's the place of faith in Buddhism, because in the early teachings, there are different sets of like qualities, personal qualities, the qualities of enlightenment, or the qualities that are basis for spiritual power. And both of those lists include faith, but it's always counterbalanced by wisdom. So it's a quality, it's a capacity. And let's take a look. So Lord Buddha is answering, what do you think, Kalamas? When greed arises in person, does it arise for welfare or for harm? For harm, Lord. And this greedy person, overcome by greed, his mind possessed by greed, kills living beings, takes what is not given, goes after another person's wife, tells lies, and induce others to do likewise. So basically, this is the structure of the unwholesome actions. It's a typical list, so it's basically a list that you'll encounter everywhere. So those are four things that are the most basic unwholesome actions. And in Shravakayana, people usually, like lay people, take vows not to kill, not to steal, not to how's it called? Engage in sexual misconduct, not to tell lies. And so he's asking, when this thing, when greed is present in person, does it lead to a good outcome or to a bad outcome? Yeah. Now, what do you think when aversion? So, and here he's going through the list of the root poisons. Delusion. All right. So, what do you think, Kalamas? Are these qualities skillful or unskillful? So, how do we judge if something is skillful or not? Because it leads to good outcomes or to bad outcomes. All right. Blameworthy or blameless. Criticized by the observant and praised by the observant. So, by the wise. It's so. Is it something worth having? The qualities of non-greed, the skillful in this case, the unskillful qualities. When adopted, carried out, do they lead to harm, to suffering, or not? All right, yeah, so we can all agree that those qualities lead to suffering. So I say, so as I said, Kalamas, don't go by reports. So judging if something is true, don't go by the evidence, basically, in that sense, by like circumstantial evidence, by traditions. So basically, because it worked for so many generations, because it has been translated, transmitted through time. Don't go by scripture. So what is true is not any of these things by logical conjecture. So basically, scientific knowledge is going by logical conjecture, by inference, and by tradition. So this is the structure of scientific knowledge. The structure of what is it? Dogmatic faiths, like the Abrahamic faiths, is going by tradition, by scripture. And so he says, don't go by analogies, by agreement through pondering views. So you yourself trying to explore and understand, do your research basically by probability or by thought. Um, yeah, could you scroll a little bit up? Yeah, up. Yeah, here. So don't go by these reports. When you know for yourself that these calories are unskillful, these calories are blameworthy, these calories are criticized. So basically, when you know that they lead to bad outcomes, then you should abandon them. And so um, if we scroll a little bit down, because the Shavaka suttas were transmitted orally, so they're very repetitive. I want us to get to the all right. Yeah, let's scroll a little bit further down. One whose disciple that keeps pervading the first distinction as well as the direction. Yeah, could you scroll down? This is all right. So above he was expanding on how to tame your mind, how to train. And here he's saying that now Kalama is one who is a disciple of the noble ones. His mind thus free from hostility, free from ill will, undefiled, pure, etc., etc. So acquires four assurances in the here and now. Here he's trying to not only tell us what's the basis of judgment, and for us, this is the most important part. Basically, the basis of judgment. The basis of judgment is pragmatic. What is true is what gives you good results. It is very different from the way we perceive it in like with these secular, scientific, etc., or the other way around. Even with the religious view in the in our place of the world, like our part of the world, where we believe in like in one God and in the revelation in the scriptures, etc., etc., etc. It is very different. The basis is different. You believe because it's true. But here you judge if something is true by the results. And so this is the basis for belief. And here he explores what is that how can you reason about, for example, rebirth? I think this part is about rebirth. But no, let me try. I'll try to find the. Uh, all right, all right. So could you? I think we need to scroll a little bit. All right, this part, yeah. Um. So here, why do we train in a discipline? Like why are we engaging in this path at all? What's the basis? Do we need to buy the idea of rebirth and and karma in the first place? Like, do we need to buy them first and then so creating this way a problem in our lives? So it's the way, for example, Christianity is structured. First, you buy the idea that you're defiled, and then the logical consequence is that now you need something pure, you need grace, you need to be so they're uh, basically um, creating and solving a problem in the structure of their belief. But here, why do we need to believe in these things? So why do we train? And here he describes that, for example, like the his mind is free from hostility, free from ill will, etc., etc. Acquires four assurances in the here and now, so it's not after death or whatever. So if there is a world after death, if there is the fruit and the result of actions rightly and wrongly done, so it's if there is rebirth and if there is karma, and then this is the basis by which, with the breakup of the body after death, I will reappear in a good destination, a heavenly world. This is the first assurance he acquires. So if there is karma and there is rebirth, I'm going to get something. If there is no world after death, if there is no fruit and the results of actions rightly or wrongly done, then here in the present life, I look after myself with ease, free from hostility, free from ill will, free from trouble. This is the second assurance he acquires. So basically, um, we because we judge by the fruit, we don't judge by all those other things. We judge pragmatically. If dharma brings good things into your life, it this is uh, what's the way we um, ascertain if it's true or not. If your life gets better, because one of the qualities of the dharma is that it is good in the beginning, in the middle, and in the end. So we're moving from good to better. From yeah, it's an upward motion basically. And so here he's saying that if those things are true, then you're getting something out of it afterwards. So the you're going to reap the good karma. If they're not, you're going to have a good life at least, because those qualities they're praiseworthy and they make our lives easier. And so the third assurance, if there's if evil is done through acting, still I have willed no evil for anyone, having done no evil action, from where will suffering touch me? All right, yeah. So if we just um let me find. I think this is not the right. I think there must be two suttas kalamas, or because it's not that easy to
This is the one that
skim over the.
it was sent on the group.
No, I know, I
Like
know, I know, I know. Yeah, yeah. Um, so I don't quite remember where that text was. Maybe there are like two suttas to Kalama, but probably not. or because we're just skimming over the text, I cannot exactly find the place, um, but the logic is, for example, with these things like rebirth and karma, the structure of belief is different. It is not that we take them as true because Buddha told us so, because our teacher told us so. It's it's not different between the yanas. It's the capacity for belief that is required. The wisdom balanced with the belief is higher, so the requirements are higher. You need a more solid basis to understand what it means that you believe what your teacher tells you. And so, and you need a better tools to judge what is true. And so here in the sutra, Buddha provides us these tools. Mm, and it is very different from, so you don't come from blind belief despite the evidence, as it is, for example, when we say faith in this cultural context. It is not like that. It is exactly the evidence that you're looking for, but the evidence not of the logical kind. And so here, or in some other sutra, to the skeptic, basically, Buddha explores the idea, are you going to behave in a better way if you believe that rebirth is true or not? Probably you're going to behave in a better way. You're gonna act more carefully and spend your time like more wisely if you believe that rebirth is true. So this is the interesting part, and it's the same with karma. We don't just believe it because we've been told so, etc., etc. So in the structure of the teachings, uh, we use belief as a map, and here we can explore a different sutra. It's the second one.
This one, right?
Let me. Sure. Yeah. So basically, before that, these two spiritual seekers, um, Janusonin, I don't know. So this one Brahmin encountered a different one, this Vajrayana. And he asked him, where is he coming from? And he's saying that he just went to see this contemplative Gautama. So when they say Gautama the contemplative, it means that they're not Buddhists. So at least text is trying to tell us that they're on a spiritual path, they're seeking the truth, but they're not convinced Buddhists. The same way that the Kalamas are not, we're not. Because a Buddhist would say like the Lord or the Blessed One, etc., etc. And here they're being like they're just telling, yeah, I went to see this philosopher, basically Gautama the contemplative. And so, but he's quite impressed by Gautama the contemplative, and he asked him, uh, all right, yeah. So that second person praises Gautama, and then when this first man asks, "What's the basis for like such high regard for Gautama?" He says he gives this simile. Sir, suppose an elephant hunter were to enter an elephant forest and were to see there are like and where to see there are a large elephant footprint long in extent and broad in width, he would come to the conclusion, what a big bull elephant. In the same way, when I saw four footprints in Gautama, the contemplative, I came to the conclusion. So he's basically saying, what's the basis to judge that Buddha is enlightened? And he's saying he saw these four signs, and he's going to describe the signs. So the same way that a footprint is a sign of an elephant, those four signs are a sign that Buddha is enlightened. Let's scroll down. So we're going to skip um, the um, mm, the footprints that he saw, and and later on, so the fourth footprint. Yeah, let's scroll down more. So all right. So and then this Janus Sonin went to see the Buddha. So he himself went to see the Buddha. And on arrival, exchanged greetings with him, etc., etc. And then he told him the story that he had this conversation with that another Brahmin that was and that Brahmin was convinced that the Buddha was enlightened because he saw those four signs. And he told him the simile of an elephant footprint. And Buddha is saying that it's not the way to use that simile. It's not to that extent, Brahman, that the elephant footprint simile is complete in its details. As to how it is complete in its details, listen and pay close attention, I will speak. So now he's gonna explore how exactly this simile is supposed to be used. And in this, so in the Buddha's explanation, he's basically telling you that when you see a footprint, your confidence that there is an elephant somewhere out there, and like a bull elephant, so basically a male elephant, is there, is going to increase because the footprint is large. But it doesn't mean that the bull elephant is out there, because there are like female elephants with large feet. So the footprint itself is not enough to judge, but it's enough to make you keep going. And the same way, then you see so he's saying that a skilled elephant hunter would not yet come to the conclusion what a big bull elephant. And so in the same way, um, he continues to look for the elephant, and then he sees like scratch marks high up. So his confidence that there is a bull elephant somewhere nearby increases, but he's still not certain because there are tall female elephants with prominent teeth and big feet. And in the same way, he goes on through different signs, but only after. So here he says, so he follows along and sees in the elephant forest a large elephant footprint, long in extent and broad in width, with some scratch marks and tusk slashes high up and some broken off branches. And he sees that bull elephant at the foot of the tree or in the open clearing, walking, standing, sitting, or lying down. He comes to the conclusion that's the big bull elephant. So and he's going to explore basically, because the structure of the teachings usually, and it's a large sutra, because the structure is repetitive in the sense that it's very dense usually. Almost every word in like um they're a way of speaking about different aspects of the path, and they're very dense because each word means like a whole lot of things. It has very special readings, etc., etc. And a lot of time, um, the ideas are very intertwined. And so here he's gonna expand on the path itself. So if you're gonna read the sutra on your own, you can go through the details, but basically he's gonna then try to fit this simile of an elephant hunter to the life of a spiritual seeker or someone on a spiritual path. And so the structure is that um, you have some faith, you have some confidence, and it is based on something pragmatic. It is, of course, based on like if the teacher looks trustworthy or do the teachings like sound true to you, etc., etc. But then the teachings is a map, and you walk along, but you walk along a real world. If you've been given a map, you need to have enough confidence to start walking. If it's a map that is like a toy map, or it doesn't correspond to what you see around you at all, like it's a map of Middle Earth or some other fictional place, you just you will be mad to start walking along this, to start using this map. Was there a break or something? Because you've Oh, it's all okay. Okay. So yeah, you need enough confidence to start walking, but you cannot have full faith in the map, because that would mean that whenever you encounter something that doesn't look in the real world like something that was depicted on the map, if you have too much faith in the map, you're gonna doubt yourself, and you're gonna like blindly walk along the like and get to some like to a very different place probably. So basically, if you just have a map and it says that there is a grocery store like 2-3 blocks away, you need to get to grocery store. What you want is to get to the grocery store. You need some groceries in the store. But basically, you start with little faith, enough to start walking on a path, to start using the map. And then as you go, you encounter like, oh, right, the map says that there is this building, a school over there, or across the road. And you see a school across the road. And your confidence in the map increases. But it still doesn't mean that the grocery store is there, actually. It doesn't mean it at all. And so, but you continue walking along the map because those are signs that so far it is true. So far, it's only so far. But your faith increases. And then you walk along the path, and at some point you see the grocery store. You see the grocery store, and now you know that the map was telling you the truth, and that the grocery store is there. And you can start you don't actually need the map at that point, but you're still not in the grocery store. But your confidence is going to become something completely different at that point. But you're still not in a grocery store. And this is actually the structure in the Sravakaya teachings, where you have this faith enough to try it out. enough to live by the teachings. But if you don't see the signs that it is true, and the way you judge that something true is true, not because of whatever convoluted ideas, the way you judge that it's true, if it brings good benefits. Okay, and so you're walking along this path, and in the Shravakayana teachings, there's basically, I think it's very similar to the like to the Bhumis in Bodhisattvayana, where there is this irreversible Bhumi. Is it past the first Bhumi, the path is irreversible, or all right? Yeah. So basically, so this idea, so and Buddha starts here exploring how the path is structured and at what point. So if you scroll a little bit down, all right, this tells you that a person is training in a discipline. He became a monk. So here's the structure of the like the uh, development of samadhi, and here is actually the structure of the three knowledges that in the Shravaka teachings, Buddha acquired these three knowledges under the Bodhi tree. So the three knowledges is of his past lives, of the workings of the karma, and of the existence of the nirvana, basically. So these are the three knowledges. And so even there, when he directly perceives all his past lives, when he directly perceives how in the he develops a divine eye, and he can directly see all the beings in the infinite samsara and how karma is developing for them. Even at that point, he doesn't come to the conclusion that the Buddha was enlightened. He has faith, but still, he doesn't come to the conclusion that the Buddha was enlightened. And then there is this place. Where is the? Yeah, if you scroll. Oh, okay. Yeah, no. Could you scroll a little bit up? All right, here. So this too is called the footprint of the Tathagata. So at that point, you're just seeing footprints of the Buddha, a scratch mark of the Tathagata, a task slash of the Tathagata. A disciple of the noble ones has not yet come to conclusion, but he comes to the conclusion. So at that point, he saw enlightenment. So he is on a reversible path. It's still so he's confident and but not in the same way that we are. And only after he himself becomes enlightened, he can rightly say that the Buddha was enlightened, basically. So this is this. So this is the basically this the place of faith in Buddhism. It's very different from what we usually think of as faith in, yeah, in our lives. I think we can conclude on that and maybe have a little chat if you, yeah.
Do you guys mind
I
if I
for
share
my, yeah,
something?
yeah, sure, go on.
I don't know, like I was talking to Marie before about faith and how I approach faith, and I think I have a bit of a difficulty with the felt sense of faith in Buddhism, you know. But one thing that was really good about reading up and listening to you and having this moment here, I think one thing that I wrote down and actually touched me was what he mentions in the first sutra called the four reassurances. So this for me feels like a very pragmatic way to approach faith. And in this, I feel like I have no doubt, you know. So he mentions like he was talking about several things about rebirth and whatnot and karma. So he mentions if I do good actions and there is rebirth, I'm probably going to be in a good place. But if I do good actions and there is no rebirth, I still have a good life. So like in
Yeah.
this, and he like reassures himself. And in this, for me, I do feel like there is a possibility of having a felt sense of this, you know. I have done several deeds in my life and I have done a lot of bad shit, you know, and a lot of good stuff. And I
Hmm.
could feel the backlash from that, you know, I could feel like the consequences. So I feel like this reassurance has somewhat written in me, as well as when he mentions like if there is an evil done, but no pun intended or no bad
Yeah.
intention intended, there's actually not an evil. And I usually, I mean, when relating to people and whatnot, sometimes you scream and sometimes you do bad things. I had an experience within a past relationship in which I screamed very loud in the presence of my ex-girlfriend, and she got really scared and had a panic attack and
Mm.
whatnot. But there is no bad, like no evil intention. We actually broke up because of this, but like months later, she like talked to me and appreciated everything that we'd done together, and it was like very okay, you know, because I feel like there was no evil, as well as he mentions like if there is no evil and no intention, all good. So when I
Yeah.
listen to this about like these four reassurances, I think it somehow refreshes my faith a little bit, you know? It brings me
Yeah.
something like it's more earthly. Okay, I have seen this, I have felt
Hmm.
this, and this I can have belief. So I think this was very helpful to me.
Yeah. So it is truly very different. I myself came to Buddhism from not being a believer at all. Like I was like very materialistic, secular, etc., etc. And so I know that faith is a capacity. It's not grace or whatever. And what makes Buddhist teachings very different from like um, from Christianity, for example, that in Christianity you can be a martyr, you can suffer and come to the good, like go to the better world after death. It's not the same in Buddhism. There is not this idea that through struggle, through pain, through suffering, you somehow acquire something that will like and deserve heaven, like deserve paradise or whatever. Yeah, it's very different. It's always going from good to better, from a good place to a better place. It's always moving upwards. It's very different in that sense. And then we follow the teachings and we see how it works for us. And then we think, oh, maybe he was indeed enlightened. Maybe and then of course through personal experience we can see the signs that there's rebirth, that the karma is true, etc. etc. So it's yeah, it's very beautiful, I think, and it's transformative. The most important part of my life, like this path. Yeah. Mm. Mhm.
You know, like in a sense of sharing, uh, I feel like just I feel like sharing this relational approach to sharing is something that James actually teaches a lot, and we actually practice in a lot of his retreats. I don't know how you guys have felt this,
Oh
or at least
yeah,
the retreats that have, yeah, sharing with Sangha is something that's very helpful. So I'm
Mm.
trying to open myself a little bit more to this. I have a tendency to not share, but trying to open
Yeah,
up
me
and
too.
put my heart out there. Yeah,
No
I'm trying,
worries.
And one other thing that actually touched me, and it's something that I have not struggled, but I have sort of like dealt it with in a different way, is when you mention like there is a map and there
Mm,
is the world, like there is this
yeah.
map of emptiness and open yourself up to your own ground and whatnot. And there is actually experiences, which happen all around the world in different things that we do and we engage in. And like very recently, I mean, I felt like I went too much towards my own map and my own
Mm,
sort of way of dealing with things. And I got too far from the world. And it actually led me to a deserted island, I guess. I don't know, like very, very far
mm,
off by myself. And then I'm trying to approach the world back again and engage with people. And very constantly, I have been having this feeling of doubting myself. I say something, then I start doubting myself. I feel something, and I don't know if I should feel it. And there is a lot of doubt coming into my experience. But as you mentioned, like it's not going to be like 100% certain, but through practice and through engaging in the world, you're going to develop this confidence. It's a bit of the map and it's
yeah.
a bit of the world, and it's going to open yourself up to you. And it's sort of like something I have been struggling with. So, like my mind, for example, sometimes I feel like it's very sharp, and then there's a blank things that crosses my experience, and then I sort of like forget stuff, and then I'm like, okay, where was I and whatnot, and then I breathe in,
Mm,
and then okay, I'm here, and I can continue and whatnot. So this has been happening a lot, and it's good to talk about it and feel like it's a process. So this was very helpful too.
yeah. I think because I came to Dzogchen from Theravada, from Shavakayana, I I have these tools that are not always readily available in our part of the Dharma. And so one of those tools is doubt is is seen as just one of the there are different obstacles to practice that arise in practice. Some are energetic obstacles like in the body and like desire, aversion, and then uh, upwelling of energy, or the other way around, like sloth and torpor, as it's called. So sleepiness, low energy, and doubt is among those obstacles to practice. So it's not seen as something to be resolved. It is just an energetic formation, and you regard this as such. And so it is very different. So you don't try to resolve the doubt. For example, if you're sitting in a practice and it's not going the way you think it must go, at least that's what a doubtful thought is going to tell you. And then you just see, oh, okay, it's just one of those things. So and you don't get sucked up into, or it's okay to be in doubt in the same way as you're like feel sleepy sometimes. And yeah, those are, yeah, I think there are very many interesting things in Theravada that are, yeah, can help to sustain ourselves on the path.
I think I feel happy to listen to someone like sharing this too, because it's sort of like had a similar approach to doubt. There was so much doubt that at some point I had to look at doubt and see, okay, it's just doubt, and sort
Yeah,
of like relax
it's
into it. Just like relax, it's doubt. You're doubting yourself, and that's okay. Just doubt yourself. It's not true. It's
yeah.
not, you don't have to believe it or not.
No,
Just flow and just breathe
You
in.
don't need to do anything with that. It's the same as feeling angry, horny, or
Hmm.
whatever. It's it's just doubt.
Exactly. And one thing that really, I feel like I felt like it sparkled within me again, was this particular text that I actually translated from English into James through a book that is in Being Guru Rinpoche, which is a
Mm.
prayer called Aspiration for Pure Discernment. I don't know if
Oh
you've
yeah,
seen it
yeah.
before. I cried so much like reading it and translating it, and I feel like there is a lot of I mean, it resonates a lot with this theme, and it sparkled me again to a
Yeah.
deep will to look. I have to study this again. I have to check it and refresh it and whatnot. I feel like there is
Um,
a lot of like it's like a it
it's very beautiful
it's
from Dijam Rinpoche. All right.
exactly.
And so
Mm,
James gave teachings on this text like two years ago or something. Yeah.
exactly.
Have you listened to the teachings?
Yeah, I asked him to
There's
actually
a
give the
record.
teaching, and yeah, I'm going to check it again, the recording, and
Yeah. I think it's available on YouTube.
mhm,
Mm.
check it again. It's quite beautiful.
Yeah.
I mean, thank you for all of this.
Yeah. It's my pleasure because faith is something that is not always properly understood and something that I myself was lacking or well, because I thought that faith is something that you either have or not or something like that. So it's not like that. Yeah. Um. So shall we conclude?
Would
You're
you like to dedicate the merit or something?
sure. Yeah. Are you gonna do
You can do
with
in
the
the
Giwan
way
the yeah. I usually chant
oh,
like the
you can do
prayer.
this
Yeah.
the way you want. Hmm?
Giwandien duda urchen lama drujune drowa chi chamanupan di sana parsho. Thank you.
Can I do the long life prayer for James, if that's okay for you?
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Please do.
Okay. Do it in Tibetan. O kandro yonki tsomo te bashe tseza doje pamo dam riki damo sanwa yeshe yun shin kandro tsoki den tu wi jem su loki zape tengu chi. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. See you.
See you. Thank you.